Hi, I'm Ken Hom, and I'm here to show you how to wok your way to good health. Cooking with the wok is not only quick and easy, but healthy too. And with very little practice, you can be cooking up healthy food that tastes truly fantastic. I'm here to show you how to make healthy, low-fat food that is absolutely delicious and all done in the wok. All of the recipes are low-fat, low salt, but are packed with flavor. The wok is so versatile, you can cook everything from soup to dessert. Let me show you how. Let's begin with a fast seafood soup. Now, most people think of soup as something really boring, but this one is really exciting. Now, fish should become your new best friend. It's packed with protein, it's low in calories and cholesterol, and it contains heart-healthy omega-3 fats. We all want that. Now, we start out by taking about a pint of stock, which you put in the wok, like that. And to that, we add about a quarter pint of Chinese rice wine. If you can't get that, you can use dry sherry with no problem. Now, I'm using about 1 pound of fresh fish fillet. I've cut them into pieces about 2 inches square, and then mix them with a little bit of pepper, about a half teaspoon, and a teaspoon of sesame oil. Now, this is toasted sesame oil, and just mix that together a little bit like that. And this has a very aromatic flavor. Remember, sesame oil is used for flavoring, actually not for frying or cooking in that sense. Okay, now we're ready. It's simmering, and we slowly put in our fish, like that. Now, remember, fish like this will cook quite quickly, and just let it simmer. Now, let me show you some of my other ingredients that you will need. You should start out with 1 tablespoon of finely chopped fresh root ginger. This is a favorite Chinese ingredient. 1 teaspoon of chili bean sauce. Now, this is really quite hot, and you really don't need a lot to pep up this soup here. Then you'll need 2 tablespoons of low salt soy sauce. Now, normal soy sauce is quite salty, so you really need to cut down on salt by finding this low salt variety. And all you have to do to finish this is to just add a few leaves of fresh coriander, and that'll give it a nice, wonderful, exotic flavor. It's really that easy. It's packed with flavor, it's full of goodness, it's low in fat, and that is my fast seafood soup, all done in the wok. I'm going to show you my chopped prawns with lettuce cups. Now, for this, you need a nice crisp lettuce like this. And did you know that the darker the color, the more nutritious the lettuce? Now, for the prawns. We need about 8 ounces of fresh, uncooked prawns. You have to peel them and discard the shells. Now, dice up about 4 ounces of asparagus and about 8 ounces of peppers. Let me show you a little trick with peppers. It's easy to prepare. You know how the seeds are. They can get messy when you chop them, etc. Let me show you this trick. It makes it much easier. You cut the pepper on each end like this, and open this up, and then parallel with the board, you see that? You can just core this out. Look at that. I mean, it's that easy. Cut down, and you have the core, and you just chuck it away. And you prepare them just by cutting them into strips, as I'm doing here. As you can see, that really takes but even less than a minute to do. It's really a few seconds, and here it's all ready to go. Now, this recipe needs about 2 tablespoons of finely chopped garlic. And I want to show you another trick that you can use with your cleaver. You just take the garlic and you tap it like this, and you see the skin just falls right off. And you can just finely chop it. It's really that quick and that easy. Now for this we need about 2 tablespoons as well of chopped ginger. And we're going to start by heating up our wok first. Just heat it up until it's hot. And I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil. It's good to measure it. That way you make sure that you're not using too much oil. Now, you can use other types of oil like rapeseed oil, but don't use olive oil for stir frying because olive oil will burn. Make sure you swirl the oil all around the wok. And I'm going to start with my 3 holy trinities of Chinese cooking, which is ginger, spring onions, and the garlic. You want to take that and stir fry that for about 10-15 seconds. We're going to start by adding first the asparagus and the peppers. And also what I need to do to flavor this is some pepper. Freshly ground pepper is nice. This will give a very nice sharp taste to the veggies. 1 tablespoon of low salt soy sauce. 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. And hoisin sauce is lovely because it's slightly sweet and has a wonderful rich flavor. Stir this around very, very quickly. And a 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil. Remember, sesame oil is used just for flavoring, not actually for cooking. That will add a very nice aromatic toasty flavor to this mix. In any case, at these temperatures, everything cooks really fast. Now I can add the prawns, and I'll just continue to cook that until the prawns are cooked. Now remember, prawns don't need a lot of cooking, and just at the very end is enough time for this to be done. Now, how do you know when the prawns are cooked? Well, you can see by their color. They turn a bright, sort of pinkish red, and that's when you know they're cooked. Of course, the best way to know if something is cooked is just to taste it. Now that it's done, we're ready to serve it, and this is where the fun begins. You can enjoy eating this very informative, like crispy duck and pancakes, only this is much healthier. You put hoisin sauce in a little bowl and just let your guests serve themselves. They put a heap of the prawn mixture on a lettuce leaf, add a little bit of hoisin sauce, wrap it up, and eat it with your fingers. Fantastic! And that's my chopped prawns in lettuce cups, enjoyed in good health. Now I'm going to make for you my 10-minute salmon in spring onion sauce. Now for this you'll need 1 pound of salmon fillets like this, and you just simply rub them all over with a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I just rub them all over with that. And bring about a pint of water to the boil and turn it down to a simmer, and you simply add the salmon like that in the water. And let it simmer for 2 or 3 minutes. Cover tightly and take it off the heat. Take about 6 tablespoons of coarsely chopped spring onion and 1 tablespoon of finely chopped ginger. Mix this together in a bowl. Take a small pan and mix 1/2 tablespoon of sunflower oil with half a teaspoon of sesame oil. Heat this until it begins to smoke. Now, just remove the salmon from the water, arrange it on a platter, and scatter the ginger and spring onion all over it. Now, pour the hot oil on top like that, and then flavor it with 1.5 tablespoons of low salt soy sauce. Now, nothing could be simpler or more delicious. And remember, salmon is rich in omega-3 fats and vitamin A, which is good for your immune system. And that's my 10-minute salmon with spring onion sauce. Now I'm going to show you my broccoli chicken. You know, I'm using about 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast, and I've cut it into 1-inch chunks like this. Now, in some supermarkets, you can even buy it this way. Now, I'm going to marinate this in 2 teaspoons of low salt soy sauce, sesame oil, and this is about 1 teaspoon. Just take that, mix that really well, and about 2 teaspoons of corn flour. Now, what that will do is it will keep the marinade on the meat, and you should just let that marinate for about 20 minutes at room temperature. Then take about 1 pound of broccoli, divide the heads into small florets. A lot of people don't use the stalks, but I think they're the best part of the broccoli. You just peel them like this, and then thinly slice them on that diagonal. They are delicious and tender. Heat the wok over high heat, and you can feel the heat by just putting your hand over the wok like this. Take about 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil, and just put that in the hot wok like that. And swirl it around, and it will begin to smoke. And that is a very, very good sign that it's hot enough for you to put in the chicken. So what you want to do is add the chicken quickly. Cook that over fairly high heat, stirring it around all the time. And you sort of want to keep doing this until it's nice and brown. Now reheat the wok. The lesson here for healthy wok cooking is to not add any more oil. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of chopped shallots, 2 tablespoons of coarsely chopped garlic. And don't be alarmed, it will look a bit dry at the moment. So you just remember that shallots and garlic have a little bit of moisture, and it will take them a while before they will start to burn. Now, just about a minute or so, it will start cooking. Now, at this point, I'm just going to add some black pepper. Black pepper is a really good substitute for a lot of salt. It makes things really flavorful. And at this point, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of rice wine, Shaoxing rice wine, or you can use dry sherry. 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. Just stir fry that around a little bit. And then add your broccoli. Now, at this point, we can see that the wok is fairly dry. So instead of adding more oil, what you want to do is you want to add 6 tablespoons of chicken stock, or you can use water. And the way to cook this is over high heat. You want to cover the wok, and what is happening is the broccoli is actually steaming there. And let that cook over high heat for 5 minutes. Now, it's cooking away. At this point, I'm going to add my return the chicken, which has been drained of any fat. And of course, this is essential to healthy cooking. Just letting it heat and cook thoroughly. And that'll take about a minute or so. And then I'm adding some fresh basil leaves. Now, if you don't have basil, you can add mint. Just a small handful of mint will just transform this recipe. Now, broccoli is a real superfood. It has many things that are good for you, not only for your eyes, but also your arteries. So enjoy my broccoli chicken in good health. I love the way Chinese cooks combine flavors, and here's a great example. Beef with ginger and pineapple. Take a pound of lean beef like this, and you want to cut it into fairly thick slices. When beef is lean, you don't want to overcook it. And the wok is perfect for cooking meat like this. Now, we want to marinate this a little bit. So, we're adding 2 teaspoons of Shaoxing rice wine. And if you can't get it, you can use dry sherry. But it's widely available in many places now. You want to add just a half a teaspoon of sesame oil, and that will make it quite aromatic. And remember, sesame oil is used for flavoring, not for cooking. And you want to finish that off with just a little bit of corn flour. Just about 1.5 teaspoons will be perfect. You mix that really well and you set it aside so that all that wonderful marinade can soak into the meat. Now we have our pineapple. You want to take a fresh pineapple like this, and you want to cut it off at the end. And this is where the cleaver is really helpful. You see, you can quickly just trim the skin of the pineapple. And of course, this you will have to discard. And you cut downwards like this, as you can see. And you want to cut the end. And this, of course, we will all discard. Now, you just want the meat of the pineapple, so you just cut all the best bits, which is like here and here, all the lovely flesh, and you want to discard the core, which you don't need. And cut that into very small bites. And you see the preparation of this is very, very quick and easy. Now, once that's done, I also have some peppers been cut into squares or wedges, and 2 spring onions. And now we're ready to cook. You start by heating up your wok until it's quite hot. Again, this is terribly important. Now, why? Because when the wok is hot, you wind up using a lot less oil. We have 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil, and I tend to measure it because that's sort of safer. You make sure you don't use too much oil. As you can see, when it's hot and smoking like this, this is when you add your meat. What to do is you want to seal your meat, and you could hear it sort of bubbling away and just cooking. And this is what you want. That keeps all the juices in the meat. And of course the meat is very tender, so you don't want to cook it too much, because all the flavors will come out of it. Now just continue to stir fry that. Just for about a minute or so is enough. And when you're finished, just take it all out, like that, and put it aside. You just let that meat rest for a little bit. Now, we're just going to finish up our sauce by putting in some shredded ginger, and that's about 2 tablespoons worth. Our peppers, and our spring onions. Just stir fry that just a little bit. And now we're going to add a tablespoon of water, or you can use stock, 2 teaspoons of rice wine, the Shaoxing rice wine. And you want to stir fry that around. And 2 tablespoons of low salt soy sauce. And this will take just about a minute or so. Then add the pineapple. Now you see that lovely color, and the pineapple will add a nice tart and sweet taste to this without additional sugar, which is what's very nice about this. At this point, I'm returning the beef back to the wok, and again over high heat, stirring that around and sort of giving it that final wonderful flavor. And this is the hallmark of also good wok cooking. You know, everything tastes like it's been grilled and barbecued, and you could do that without very much fat. Now for a final touch, we're just going to add a half a teaspoon of sesame oil, and that's a very small amount, and that's just to give it a very aromatic flavor. Just give that a nice swirl. That's my beef and ginger pineapple that's good for your health. Now I'm going to show you a great vegetarian dish that even meat eaters can love. It's called my quick bean curd in spicy chili sauce. First, you need to heat the wok until it's hot. Then you want to add about 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil, just like that. Next, we have 1 tablespoon of coarsely chopped garlic, 2 teaspoons of finely chopped ginger, 3 tablespoons of coarsely chopped spring onion. You want to take that and stir fry that around for about 30 seconds. I call this my holy trinity of garlic, spring onions, and ginger. You want to cook that so all its aroma can come out. And then we make our sauce with 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce, 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, 2 teaspoons of chili bean sauce, and this is what will add sort of the spiciness. And I want to add 1 tablespoon of low salt soy sauce, just like that. A teaspoon of sugar, a half teaspoon of sesame oil, and to finish that off, I want to add 3 tablespoons of water. Mix that up really well and just let that simmer. You can buy bean curd, popularly known as tofu, in any supermarket these days. Bean curd itself is rather bland, but it's great at absorbing the flavors of anything you add to it. Now, you can add all sorts of things to the mix. And the bean curd acts like a sponge, absorbing all those flavors. I'm just going to cut this up into square 1-inch pieces, like that. I have about a pound here of bean curd. And what you do is just slide this into your sauce. And what you want to do, you want to be careful because it's rather fragile, so you don't want to actually stir fry it as if you would do with a piece of meat. You want to take that, stir this around gently until all the bean curd is coated with this lovely, spicy and delicious sauce. I say this sauce can even wake up the dead. It's so good. Now, you just put that down and just let it simmer for about 3 minutes. You can actually even cook it more because bean curd is really hard to overcook it. It will just get softer and softer. And that's my quick bean curd in spicy chili sauce. You could serve this with noodles and green beans or a green salad. And the whole meal will be around 200 calories and less than 2 grams of saturated fat. Fantastically healthy and totally delicious. I'm going to finish up with a dessert, believe it or not, cooked in the wok. It's my favorite, ginger pears. What you want to do is peel 4 pears and cut them into quarters and of course remove the core and the seeds. Then take a lemon and cut it in half and squeeze the juice over the pears. Now what that does is it prevents them